Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 10 of Spreading the News. I am your host, Chase Carucci, and I am here with Brian.
How's everybody doing? We're not too good.
And we're here with Danny today.
Yes, what's going on, everybody? It's going to be a little bit of a depressing one this week. If you want a uplifting one, go over to last week. We didn't advertise that one as well as we should have, but it was a good one, I think. So go listen to that one.
Yeah, this episode is going to be definitely a weird one. The Yankees have not played up to my expectations. We'll get into that in a little bit. And there's also a weird situation surrounding Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson currently, and we'll get into that a little bit.
And we lost the beef that we talk about so much, the beef games. We lost.
There's a lot to talk about today, but we're going to cover the today we're going to do the Orioles series very, very briefly. Not like our normal episodes. This week we don't have a Yankee of the week. And we, like I said, are going to do this White Sox series and the Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson situation. So I don't want to waste any time. We can just jump right into it. Who wants to talk about very briefly the Orioles series?
I'll take the Orioles series. There's not really much to say. They won 3-4. You're supposed to beat a team like that. The fourth game, I don't want to be completely negative especially about a series win, but fourth game was definitely a heartbreaker. The Santander grand slam, the walk-off homer, which comes frustrating to me because he's a guy that just is not good except for when he's against the Yankees.
Yeah.
He's a classic Yankee killer. So
always that guy.
But the highlight of that series, if we want to talk about the positives, was definitely Judge. He was raking again in that series. We can talk about the wall because fuck that stupid wall.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that wall. We were going off on the wall in our group chats all week. Brian is frozen.
Judge should have had. Yeah. By the way, Brian's in a spotty Wi-Fi location right now, so I think he's okay right now. But if in case anything happens, that's why. But Judge should have had 3 home runs on that Tuesday game in Baltimore, but it was limited to 2 because one of them was off the top of the wall, and it would have been 3 last year. But I'm not one to complain about walls. It's a 2-way street with the short porch and I guess now Camden Yards.
But they brought up a good point about the create your own ballpark. Like literally Baltimore just moved that wall back and raised it and basically doubled the height of it just so they could get more attraction to free agent pitchers and just so there weren't as many home runs getting hit out of their park. Even their own hitters don't like it. Their own players hate it.
Yeah, even Trey Mancini came out and pretty much verified what Judge said. And the Judge said, like you said, Danny, create your own ballpark.
Yeah.
And Trey Mancini was like, well, I don't know the exact quote, but he was like, well, he's not wrong, Yeah.
He said Judge was right, and none of the hitters like it,
including myself. But
I was like that. Like you said, Chase, before, they basically moved that wall back because they realized that they couldn't out homer any other team, and now it's working backwards against them. And they don't want the free agent pitchers. Well, now if I'm a free agent right-handed hitter, the Orioles are the last team I'm going to play for, and you're already a team that's rebuilding. It's really not ideal for them.
They're going to sign more pitchers maybe now, but they brought up a great point on the Yes Network. You know how you sign, how you attract more pitchers, offer them more money. But like I always say, the people who get us are the shitty hitting catchers. And Robinson Chirinos hit that 2-run home run over that left field wall. And of course, there's always those Yankee killers like Randall Grichuk is the most notable, but Santander is becoming another one along with Austin Hayes. But
who knows? Maybe Adley this week.
Maybe Adley. I'm excited to see Adley.
Adley Rutschman just got called up yesterday.
Baseball's number 1 prospect.
Finally, I'm excited.
It's gonna be exciting to see him in the Bronx this week. We play the Orioles again this week, so it's gonna be fun to watch.
I know we don't like straying so far from the Yankees, but did you see his call-up video? That was awesome.
I did. Awesome. I saw it on the ESPN broadcast today, and It was really cool to see that. How everyone just just jumping together.
How they made him think that they're being careful with him in the minors, but nah, you're going up.
Yeah, it was really cool. Very similar to the Julio Rodriguez call-up video.
Yeah. It's exciting seeing these prospects that we either saw get drafted or we heard about coming up through the ranks since they were 16 years old. It's cool seeing them finally making it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Volpe and Dominguez are on that track.
Yeah. Right? Hopefully next year for Volpe.
What'd you say about Dominguez, Brian?
he had a day today, didn't he? I think he was like 5 for 7, something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they had a doubleheader today, and I think like in the combined doubleheader he hit for the cycle. So
Let's call him up because our center fielder blows. So
our
yeah,
center fielder is lost in all facets of the game: base running, fielding, hitting, and we'll talk about that.
yeah. Really quick before we go in that direction, the Yankees did take 3 out of 4 against Baltimore in that series, so you can't really complain there. I know we in the last episode we all said we wanted the sweep, but
Of course, you want the sweep.
can't sweep them all.
But the only thing, like, yeah, you can't complain about winning 3 out of 4, but that fourth game where we lost was just such a heartbreaker that you can't help but feel negatively kind of towards it a little bit. But
Yeah,
at this point in the season, it's Yankees haven't had that many losses, but all of them have been all of the losses were just heartbreaking, like because they haven't lost within 3 runs except for that game against the Orioles where it was 5-0 all the way back in the beginning of the season. They're all close games that we end up losing. But
even today, I think like marks their first series loss in like 10 series.
yeah,
What is it?
they won 9 straight. They won 9 straight.
it's their second series loss of the year.
Yep.
Today against the White Sox.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking. Although they are still like in baseball, but it still sucks.
I know, but the way it happened today today was just after the beef all that yesterday. We come in today and get swept in a doubleheader. It's embarrassing.
It's gross.
Tim Anderson hitting the home run. We'll get into that later, but just so everybody knows, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the Yankees. It's disappointing. It's not. We're not going to be angry. This podcast is really just disappointment.
Just disappointed. And, yeah.
Embarrassed.
Let's talk about Hicks for a minute. You guys,
we have to.
So, there was a part in one of those games. I think it was yesterday. Hicks did something in the outfield. I didn't have the chance to watch the game, so I'll let you guys talk about it.
So bad.
So let's do that. Danny, why don't you take us through what Hicks did yesterday?
Yeah. Brian, did you also miss that game yesterday, or did you watch it?
I saw most of it. I saw what he did. I mean, we're still that's still even premature because in the Orioles series, he single-handedly cost them a run in that lazily throwing that fly ball back in, and you let Tyler Nevin tag up from first to second.
Yeah.
After he missed that ball, if anybody saw that, I mean, it was one of his many ridiculous defensive mistakes of the week. And everything he does is a mistake. He was a mistake.
What about today when he got caught on second?
Yeah. Oh my God. You get picked off on second with DJ coming up next. You just take the bat, or in 2 batters, you take the bat out of DJ's hand with the runner in scoring position. It just doesn't make it's just awful. It's terrible baseball. And you see him in the dugout basically about to cry, and nobody near him. He's sitting, everybody's up on the fence. He's sitting on the bench alone. Like, sit the fuck down, bro.
It was funny. Joe Kelly was like laughing at him after he picked him off.
He couldn't believe
Joe Kelly was like,
it's embarrassing. How do you do that? You have the top of the lineup coming up, and it's a 0-0 ball game, and you get picked off at second.
It really is like
1-0 ball game. 1-0 ball game.
Like he forgot how to play baseball. Like he can't do anything right, and it's his own fault. Like it's not like fluky things. Like he's like mentally checked out there, like so bad. Like you have the guys that physically are bad, but then you have the guys like Hicks who are like, it's almost like he's purposely like messing things up. Like it's almost like he has a bet on the Yankees under for the win total this year. Like that's
in yesterday's game, it was like a sinking line drive, but he was jogging to the ball again, and he just completely misplayed it. He just stopped and tried to backhand it and missed the ball.
Never a backhanded ball like that in my life.
Oh, never on a sinking line drive like that. You never stop. He stopped and tried to backhand it. And you see even Nestor is starting to get frustrated. Nestor, he throws his hands up like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and luckily Anthony Rizzo, a guy who actually shows hard on defense, saves a run that inning with a nice jumping line, like a nice jumping play to end that inning. And then Nestor gives him love. Nestor Cortez is fired up after Rizzo makes a play like Hicks. Hicks wouldn't know how that feels because he's just pissing off the pitchers.
If you're on the team, how do you even look at him? Like, dude, like you suck at everything. Like,
and he knows it. Hicks knows it. Like some guys, like obviously they know they're struggling, but they don't like really know they bad. But Hicks knows he's bad. You see his body language sucks, and that's part of it. When Brian, you know better, like when you're playing baseball and your body language sucks, you're gonna suck. Like he goes out there and it looks like he doesn't want to play. He's sulking. He's throwing his helmet after every time he gets out, which is every time he's up.
Yeah, and he at this point he's like dragging himself to the plate for his at bats. He's got no shot.
He doesn't want to hit. He told Meredith that I'm pressing. It's not my normal approach. I'm chasing pitches out of the zone. And dude, if you know what's wrong, then fix it.
All the broadcasters too, and this is just about his offense. But there's hitting, there's base running, there's fielding, and he is god awful at every single one of them.
Yep.
But right now. But like even at the plate, like you just see like that massive leg kick, and the Yes Network broadcasters keep talking about it. Or like clearly it's not working. He's late on every fastball, and you can see like like when your head's moving so much, like because his whole body comes up and then his whole body comes down, and that moving, you can't pick up the ball like that, which is clear. Which is why he was 2 for his last 40 or whatever it was.
And I've talked about a lot of times that Cameron Maben up in the booth praising Aaron Hicks for nothing, praising Aaron Hicks any chance he gets. But now Maben's not even on his side. Like when Maben was in disbelief after what he saw in the Orioles series, Brian, you brought up when he allowed the guy to tag up from second that ultimately cost him a run. Maben could not believe his eyes when he saw Hicks. Like that's the kind of effort you're bringing to the team in a division ball game, especially in any baseball game, but in a division baseball game, especially, it's just.
That's what I'm saying. It's so pathetic. Like on a team like this, like a team that's so good, and if you're not going to hit. You're going to play
good. That's the main
fuck up on the bases. At least give us effort, and he's not even doing that. So he brings literally nothing to this team. We like to joke about Steve, but Esteban Florial cannot be worse.
He can't be. Like he hit the ball in the screws twice today, but he got unlucky. 2 lineouts, but he's given effort at least. He missed a ball in center, but.
He gets, but he does get a good jump, and he's faster, and he can't be worse. And I really think, like, if they're going, I think Judge should be the everyday center fielder, but if they're going to make him out for their move, I think it should be Foyer or get someone at the deadline. I've seen Cole Calhoun, anyone, because he's costing them games.
They're too scared about it.
Go get Benintendi.
Get Benintendi. As much as we hate him on the Red Sox, if he's on our team, but the thing that they're scared of, like with putting Judge in center every day, is injuries. As we see, the injury bug is starting to hit us now. It's starting to hit us. Chad Green went down with Tommy John surgery. Luis Hill, Tommy John surgery. And we saw in that Orioles series, the bullpen did not look good. The only guy that really looked good was Clay Holmes. But of course he is. You know him. He's that guy. Clay Holmes, as I say every week, I could talk about him for hours and hours, but he is that dude.
Yeah. Before I just wanted to say about Hicks really quick. Sorry to kind of backtrack, but I almost feel like every single day he goes out there and he finds a new way to make everyone just pissed off.
Yeah.
And like like I said, like today, he was having a solid day, 2 singles, looked okay in the field, and then gets picked off over at second, and it's just not what you want.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Brian today, he showed us the pictures of what was happening on his phone, because Brian couldn't watch that game today when Hicks got picked off at second. So he showed our screenshot of our group chat is, what the fuck are you doing? What is he doing? How do you get picked off? What the hell are you doing? Then the next screenshot is Twitter, and the same thing. What the fuck is Hicks doing? What is wrong with him? What are you doing? What the fuck is going on?
I've never seen Yankee fans so united over something.
Yeah, over hate. Well, no,
over
hatred
for a player, I should say.
I wouldn't say that. Over hatred for a player on their own team, but I wouldn't say hatred over a player.
True. But back to Chad Green, Danny. Chad Green,
tough blow.
Today, breaking news. Chad Green is headed to the IL. He's gonna have Tommy John surgery. He will be out for the remainder of the year. A big loss to the bullpen. I've always been, the last 2 years, I would say I've been a very, I would say like a downer on Chad Green. That's not the right word, but it's the first thing that came to my mind. Very skeptical of Chad Green. He hasn't been my favorite player over the last 2 years. I loved him from 2017 through in 2018, 2019. He was, always probably our most reliable guy. He was a tank in 2017, and someone brought it up today. I think it was Gabe, Playoff Tanaka, on Twitter. The Yankees don't make that run in 2017 without Chad Green. And Chad Green was a big reason why they won that wild card game against the Twins after, Severino had that horrible start.
Horrible.
But it's just a big blow to the bullpen. And, I think we're starting to see that now with the bullpen, because they're struggling already without Chad. And losing Chad, that's going to be a lot bigger than I think people really have imagined it to be.
Yeah, no, definitely a big blow to Chad, because now it's testing our depth. Like we saw Ronnie Marinaccio got recalled today. So, really our depth. Let's see. We should have depth in the minors. We always talk about how much depth we have in the minors at pitching. But let's see. Chad has been one of our most reliable relievers. He is shaky. Like, he gives up base runners. Like I said earlier in the year, that last year he had some of the best outings, but also some of the worst outings. Like, he's either all or nothing. He's either going to blow you the game or he's going to save you the game, and he's going to be great. But losing a guy like him is tough.
And now Chapman after today's game.
It's bad.
Chapman's dealing with, Chapman's been pretty bad all year. But he's dealing now. Actually, he's been bad for over a year. If you go back to his numbers from last June, he's actually been terrible.
They have to give up on it.
Terrible.
They can't keep sending him out there in high leverage situations. They can't do it.
I like how they're making Clay Holmes the starter because, like I said, he is that dude. But
I think Clay is the closer now. Really,
Yeah.
He's
got to
as
be.
he should.
And
As he should. He's a top 3 reliever in all of baseball, maybe even top 1.
Chapman's now dealing with what they're saying is Achilles pain.
Good. Deals with the whole year. Like, not too much injury, but I don't want him back.
It's the classic fake injury when you're not good. It's you see NFL kickers do it all the time.
If they want to send Chapman I think they've honestly done this before in the past. If they want to send him to the IL, just give him the rest, give him 10 days off, and let him come back.
You can't do this with a guy like Chapman. But what they did to Chad Green a couple of years ago is they sent him down to the minors, and he came back better than he ever has. That was his best stretch in the end of that. I think it was 2019 when he came back at the end of that season. It was his best stretch really in his whole career. You can't really do that with a guy like Chapman, who has been the best closer in the game over the last how many ever years. But
I almost feel like Chapman today, what he did today, and with all these injuries, and now even Joey Gallo and Higashioka went to the COVID list today. I almost feel like this, and the 2 losses today, I almost feel like this is like a dark cloud over like maybe what's to come. I don't know. I
hope not.
I really hope not, because obviously, we can sit here and nitpick, the bad things they've done all year, because there's not many, right? And these new recent bad things that have been going on is these new. Oh my God, I just lost my train of thought. It's new to us.
Hey, no, but coming up, we have a bunch of big tests coming up. Like the Orioles, a team that we need to beat. That's always a test for us, beating the Orioles, which, it shouldn't be, but it is for us, beating the Orioles. And then we have Tampa. Then we have the Los Angeles Angels, who are a very good team, obviously. So that's 2 huge tests for this Yankees team. And I'm very excited to see how they perform in those games.
Yeah, I feel like we can all agree probably like up to this point, everything has really gone the Yankees' way, which we're really not used to. And now it does, I agree with you, it's like kind of all at once, the injury bug, losing a series like this on a big stage. You got the Sunday Night Baseball loss and like a beef game like Danny was talking about. It's like, I really don't want to think like this, but yeah, like maybe like they're taking a downward turn, but like we were saying before, I think like this next year is going to be the huge test. Like they could go out there and sweep the Orioles and be like, okay, we're back. Like that series was a fluke, or they could split it or lose it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Because they've done that in the past. Like they never, last year they didn't take care of the Orioles, and in the beginning of the year they didn't take care of the Orioles. So like you said, it's a big test to see if things are on the decline. So hopefully, they can keep it up from what they did before this series.
But yeah, I mean, it's typical. Last year we talk about the Red Sox, the White Sox again, the Mets, the Lindor game. Whenever we have beef with a team, whenever we have beef with a player in particular, that player ends up killing us. Lindor last year, the 3 home run game. Today, we'll get into the Tim Anderson Donaldson thing a little bit, but today Tim Anderson hit the game sealing 3-run home run, and he's giving the crowd to shut the fuck up the whole way around the bases. It's just embarrassing.
You could even take that back to Altuve. They just seem to always
Altuve, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk about that, boys. Let's talk about that Tim Anderson, Josh Donaldson whole situation for a little bit.
Let's give context first.
Yeah. So this, could be a sensitive situation for, both parties involved. It's definitely a spotty situation, but we're just going to give the context really quick of what actually happened. So, pretty much, Josh Donaldson apparently called Tim Anderson. Well, I shouldn't say apparently because it's confirmed. He admitted it. Josh Donaldson called Tim Anderson Jackie, right? Obviously in reference to Jackie Robinson. And Tim Anderson, rightfully so, wasn't happy about it. But then Josh Donaldson cleared it up in a post-game interview saying that and from a previous interview in 2019, Tim Anderson called himself Jackie, and then that Josh and Tim have joked about it in the past.
Yeah.
With each other about that whole Jackie thing. And then yesterday on the Saturday game, Josh called him Jackie again, and Tim Anderson wasn't happy about it. And then, everyone started saying that it was, about race. And then Yasmani Grandal got into it with Josh, and the benches cleared. it's definitely a sticky situation.
Mhm.
Do you have anything to elaborate on there, Denny?
Yeah, I mean, so Tim Anderson kind of compared himself to Jackie Robinson in the past in a previous interview, and Josh Donaldson said that they joked about in the past, but the relationship, as we've seen between Tim Anderson and Josh Donaldson and the whole White Sox team as a whole, for that matter, has definitely changed in the last 2 years. He had incidents with them on the Twins last year, which is awesome. He met Lucas Giolito out in the parking lot, awesome. But this year, all last series, him and Tim Anderson were drawn back and forth. But Donaldson cleared it up, saying he didn't mean any disrespect, but he did apologize for any disrespect that was caused. And Boone said it himself. Like Boone said, he didn't think there was anything malicious behind it. But if Tim Anderson did take offense, then that's a different story, because nobody could tell Tim Anderson how to feel and how to react to it. So Josh Donaldson said he'll have a conversation with Tim Anderson if Tim Anderson is willing. So I think that would be great for Josh Donaldson to apologize. Josh Donaldson did apologize to the media. He said, if Tim Anderson took offense to it, then I apologize, and I would love to talk to him. So if they could chat one-on-one, I think that would be better the situation. But like Boone said, I mean, Donaldson kind of tried to explain himself. I don't think there was any malicious intent, but again, can't really tell Tim Anderson how to feel. So I think a conversation is in order.
I'm just going to play the clip really quick of what Josh had to say post-game on the mic real quick.
Tim Anderson. All right, so first inning, I called him Jackie. So let me give you a little context of that. 2019, he came out with an interview, said that he's a new Jackie Robinson of baseball. He's going to bring back fun for the game, right? And 2019, when I played for Atlanta, we actually joked about that on the game. I don't know what's changed and I've said it to him in years past, not in any manner than just joking around for the fact that he called himself Jackie Robinson, So, if something has changed from that, like my meaning of that is not at any term trying to be racist by any fact of the matter. It was just off of an interview that what he called himself. And we said that before, we joked about it. He laughed, whatever. As you could tell in our series that we played, there were multiple times where I tried to diffuse the situation. Like I took responsibility for the tag, wasn't trying to do anything there. Like today, just trying to diffuse it. Like, hey, like make light. Like, hey, we're not trying to start any brawls or anything like that. Obviously, he deemed that it was disrespectful. And look, if he did, I apologize. Like that's not what I was trying to do by any manner. And that's what happened.
So, we're not here to like take sides on, what happened. We're just, trying to inform about the situation. And Josh seemed pretty, apologetic. He seemed very apologetic about it. His tone of voice, was very serious. I think he genuinely felt bad.
Yeah. Honestly, like almost even like surprised that it turned into like that sort of thing. Cause him thinking like, oh, I've joked about it before, like with Tim Anderson. So he didn't think that it would be turned into kind of like something like that to blow up in the media and to, get him canceled if you want to, for lack of a better term. But, yeah, I mean, I think a conversation between the two are in order, but as we've seen, Tim Anderson doesn't seem too fond of Josh Donaldson even before these comments. I don't know. I think they should talk. I think that's the best way to resolve problems is have a conversation. Donaldson, nobody wants to fight in baseball. As cool as it is to see a brawl, nobody wants it. Like it's kind of pointless and for the most part avoidable. So, and as you can see, Tim Anderson finished it today with that 3-run homer. That the best talk is on the field. Tim Anderson finished it today. And hats off to him. Hey, I wish the Yankees could do that. I wish the Yankees could finish what was started in the beef. But Tim Anderson did it, so hats off to him. It's embarrassing for the Yankees, but good for him.
Yeah, I hope this doesn't become kind of a dark cloud over us. Like I was mentioning before, this is just another little bit of news. Not little bit. This is huge news, I should say. But this is news that is coming out on top of the injuries and on top of this series loss. It's just almost feels like things are taking a turn. So like as we were talking before, Danny and Brian, I think we actually might have lost Brian. I don't know
I'm
if he's
here.
here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if we had you, Brian.
But
But
no, MLB is
this is a
talking
big
over
series
what to
against the
do with him.
Orioles.
The MLB has reached out to Tim Anderson and they've reached out to Donaldson and had a conversation and said that they are probably going to reach a verdict tomorrow. So look for news on that. But it's probably going to at least be a fine. Maybe they're saying a suspension, which I don't know if that, I don't know. Like, I don't want to prove my opinion. I don't know if that's too extreme. Like, it depends. It kind of depends on how the conversations went with the players, and nobody's on that phone call except for the MLB and the players themselves. So really, you can't know for sure. But Joe's did a great video on a breakdown of the whole situation, kind of explaining both sides to it, kind of seeing where Tim Anderson felt offended, but kind of seeing where Josh Donaldson thought that it wouldn't turn into this and thought it was okay, just kind of messing around. Great video to watch to really know the whole situation. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely go watch that Joe's video. I watched it this morning, and it was really interesting to see someone obviously, had to take both sides of it and really explain them both in depth.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, do you have anything to add on to the whole situation while we're on it?
Yeah, you guys said a lot. Like, I think Danny brought up a good point. Like, you can't tell Tim how to feel. Obviously, like, there's a lot of things that go into this, and it is a weird situation. I mean, given Donaldson's context of it, if that is true, then it's that's one thing. But I don't think Josh Donaldson is dumb enough in 2022 to make a blatantly racist remark like that. Like on the field, especially to like an outspoken guy like Tim Anderson, who's like really like one of the faces of baseball. And who does picture himself as kind of like like one of the faces of baseball, like he is. And one of those things that I just want to mention, like on Twitter, like when Brian Hoke explained like Donaldson's apology, whenever like Cameron Maben did reply, who was he's someone that's shared the field with Donaldson, like a longtime big leaguer. He said, "That's all you want to hear. JD is not racist by any means." So I mean, you take that how you will. Yeah. So this is one of the weirder things that we've had to talk about, but I always like. I really just hope it gets resolved quickly because I don't want this to be like a season-long thing.
Yeah.
So
especially
Cameron
especially,
Maben.
Go ahead, Danny.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cameron Maben is definitely a guy that I respect his opinion, and I love hearing what he says, because not only is he like well respected among fans, like being a broadcaster now, but he's well respected around the league. Like you said, he's a longtime big leaguer, bounced around teams. Everybody loves Cameron Maben. He's a great guy. He's a fun guy. He's one of those fun players, but really, he's a guy that you take what he says. You don't take what he says lightly. Like his opinion means a lot, and his opinion should be respected by a lot. But
yeah, kind of what Brian said. Like, I hope this doesn't become a season-long thing. Like, especially if there's a suspension in order. I don't think obviously he would get a significant suspension.
Yeah, they were saying today, like
maybe like
2 games,
1 or 2 games. But like obviously, with how good Josh has been really good for us lately, and to get that kind of suspension for him would really, really suck. Because obviously it takes him out of the lineup, and it'll won't do good for him. Obviously,
yeah, no, like even like it'll hurt us for those 2 games that he's out, but what it'll do for his mental game, like baseball is half of baseball is mental, and if he has 2 days off and he gets cold, or he's thinking about the situation now all year, and he's like shit, like why did that happen, and I got suspended, then who knows? Anything could affect a baseball player's mind. I mean, Aaron Hicks has many things that affects his play apparently. So,
and Chapman. Yeah, I mean, Donaldson is a very confident guy. He's been in the league for a long time.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, like he's been in the league for a long time. I don't think this is going to be anything that will, obviously hurt him on the field.
Yeah,
but I think
of that.
This will definitely turn a lot of fans on him.
This is a serious question for you. Has anyone asked Anderson what they think should be done with Donaldson? I'd be curious to hear what he would have to say.
Not that I know
of. I was looking for that too, that nobody did. But like today on Twitter, like you said, maybe turning even some Yankee fans away from Donaldson, which I don't know. Again, I don't want to make my opinion, whatever. But today, like on Twitter, people were happy. Like obviously all of baseball hates the Yankees. They're going to be happy that Tim Anderson, but Yankee fans were happy that Tim Anderson hit that home run to seal the game. Like,
I saw that.
But like, what? It doesn't matter.
Weird.
Like what's going on with the players or whatever. He hit a home run to basically make your team lose the game, and you're happy about that. Like, oh, good for it. Like, yeah, I mean, good for him that he did it for him, but not good for us. Like, I'm pissed about it. And I feel like all Yankee fans should be pissed about it too. And it's just kind of really weird, especially coming from the Yankees. Like they're happy. Some fans are happy that Tim Anderson hit that home run. Like, how could you be happy about that? But I don't know.
It's been a weird last few days for the Yankees. Hopefully this doesn't become the norm now.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get out. Like normally, like in a losing streak like this, you're kind of like dreading, but I'm excited to see how they bounce back from this because this is a very big key. Like we keep saying how it's kind of like last year. Like not only that is a big key to see if it's a dark cloud, but see how they bounce back because these 2 games today where they got swept and couldn't really hit all day, that was obviously a dark spot and probably they lacked confidence and the momentum was clear not on their side. But it's like really important to see how they bounce back from these games. They have 3 games set against the Orioles, a 4 game set against Tampa. Like they need to bounce back in a big way. Like this week, they need to win out of those 7 games, win 5. Like if you want to be one of the best teams in baseball, you have to take a day or 2 that wasn't good and you had to completely flip it and turn it into a good week. That's what good teams do.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Way to be, Danny. Way to be.
Yeah.
Really quick before we sign off on the Donaldson, Tim Anderson thing, I think I speak for all 3 of us just by saying, there's no place for racism in baseball, no place for racism in, the world. So if, there was malicious intent behind Donaldson, truly, that's pretty disgusting on his part. But I guess, I think Donaldson did a good job in explaining himself, and I guess we'll just have to wait to see what happens if the 2 will get together and have that conversation. We saw Yuli Gurriel have that conversation with Yu Darvish.
Yep. I mean, that was clear
worse.
Racist intent. That was clear intent. So that's what. But like again, like what people on Twitter forget to realize, like nobody could answer the question behind intent except for Josh Donaldson. Like nobody could answer that question. Everybody likes to make like just throw out their own opinions and throw out their own sometimes dumb remarks. But nobody really could answer the question besides the players involved, besides the people involved. Nobody could really say for sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up the Yuli thing where yes, that was blatant racism.
That was
like
terrible.
Absolutely.
That was disgusting. That was disgusting.
I've always been a huge Josh Donaldson guy, and if I thought he was an actual like racist person, I would throw all that away. But I genuinely don't think that Josh Donaldson is a racist.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess I'll just leave it at that. Like probably not the best idea for him to do what he did, but
yeah, no, I definitely agree. I don't think that he meant like we've been using the word malicious. I don't think that intent was behind it, but considering the tensions of late, it might not have been the smartest thing to say. And again, he seems to regret it, which obviously he should, because it turned into like a huge news story around the whole league, and it turned into a cloud on the Yankees as an organization, as a team. But yeah, obviously, if you could go back in time, he wouldn't have said it. But like at the time when he said it, he did not think that this is what it would turn into. But
yeah, so I guess we'll have to wait and find out what happens in that. If they do have a meeting, I hope they do have a meeting.
Stay
so they
tuned
can
tomorrow.
Clear it up.
Yep.
And yeah, that meeting with MLB because they're investigating.
Yeah, the only thing is, I don't think Tim Anderson is Tim Anderson kind of like people are saying like Tim Anderson in the White Sox series. He was just drawn for no, like he kind of was like trying to start it and keep it going. Like Donaldson was kind of not saying anything, and Tim Anderson, like Donaldson's running back to the dugout, and Tim Anderson's trying to bark in his ear and trying to get a reaction out of Donaldson. And then obviously Donaldson said the Jackie Robinson remarks, and I guess Tim got what he wanted, but didn't get what he wanted, obviously. But yeah, no.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's definitely going to be interesting. Just I hope it doesn't, like I keep saying, put a cloud over the Yankees because they've been playing so well, and that would really suck.
I mean, and just now, the Yankees, David McKay was one of the guys the Yankees brought up, and he had just been optioned. So that means Steve staying on the big league roster at least until Joe Gallo gets back. Maybe Joe Gallo was put on the COVID list today. Maybe when Joe Gallo gets back, is there a decision between Hicks or Esteban Florial? Is that decision going to be made?
Are
they going to make
I hope they come to a decision between, Andrew Benintendi or Hicks, or
I mean, but then we kind of don't have a center. I mean, Hicks isn't a center fielder. Obviously, he's not a good center fielder.
Judge can play center, man. Put Gallo back in right, his primary position.
I don't think they're going to want to put Judge they're not going to want Judge as the everyday center fielder. That's the problem with getting a guy like Benintendi. That's the problem with getting a guy like Benintendi, is that he's going to play a corner outfield position, not center field. And that's going to force Judge to play everyday center field unless, Stanton DH, Judge and right. Gallo out of the lineup, and they have Steve on the bench or Hicks on the bench to play center for every now and then. But yeah, I mean, obviously we'd love that bat in the lineup, but you got to think of the defensive side too.
Yep. Well, I guess that's TBD, right? To be determined.
TBD.
That's for a question, I guess, on the trade deadline episode that we have when that comes.
That's probably going to be a big episode, right? I'm excited for that one.
Hopefully we
if
get
we
some
make
moves
moves
there.
If we make moves.
But
also that one we could cover some big league moves on that day too.
Yeah, definitely, especially divisional news if that comes to fruition there.
I mean, the Blue Jays are, the Juan Soto front runners, which he's not going to get traded, but still.
Imagine we had an episode special on the Yankees trading for Juan Soto.
Oh my God.
It would have to be an emergency pod, but I'd also probably think I'd be unconscious if they traded for Soto.
That would be crazy. But like people are saying Juan Soto was not getting traded. Let's say that for a thing. That was like a kind of a silly rumor that was going on Twitter for a day. But yeah, that would people were saying that would kind of mean Judge wouldn't get extended, but Juan Soto kind of has made it clear he wants to test the free agent market, and he still has 2.5 years left of service time. He still has 2.5 years left of team control, or 2 years after this. So really, you could still re-sign Judge, use the rest of his service time, and then just let him walk in free agency. Maybe get a ring or two out of him.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to find out.
It's not going to happen.
TBD.
It's not going to happen. He's not getting traded. Don't get anybody excited. It's not going to happen. Just a silly little rumor.
Well, that is all I've got for today's episode. Definitely a shorter episode than what we're used to. Unless if you guys have anything else to add on before we head off here.
Definitely wanted to make it a little shorter today since, it's kind of a depressing mood as opposed to the energy that we've been having on these podcasts. But, the last thing I want to say is I love you, Clay Holmes, and I hate you, Aaron Hicks.
And Aroldis Chapman.
And yeah, Aroldis Chapman, figure it out. Come on, dude.
It's a big week coming up. Like we said earlier, O's Rays for the first time this year, right behind us in the standings. And the Angels after that. So one of the best teams in the American League. It should be fun.
Should be fun unless we lose.
Yeah, right. Agreed. Brian, you have anything else to say before we go here?
No, I'm good. Let's go Yanks. Bounce back. Let's get back to the
big bounce back. Big bounce back.
Thank you all
use
for
this
listening.
as fuel. Don't use this as a way to go on more of a skid, as a down in confidence. Use this as motivation. Can't let it happen again. Let's go.
Thank you all for listening. This has been Chase.
Danny, Brian.
Simultaneous.
Danny, Brian, and Chase.
Danny, Brian, and Chase. Thank you all for listening. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spread the News and on Twitter at Official STN Pod, and subscribe on YouTube at Spread the News. Thank you all for listening. We will see you hopefully on a big high note next week, and peace.